Welcome back to RJ Talks, everybody. We have a special subtopic on top of what we were actually going to talk about for the day. Original plan was we were just going to mention the NFC South and continue our mini-series after last week where we talked about the NFC North. We just got news today that Baker Mayfield has officially been traded over to the Carolina Panthers.
A nice added topic to the state of the division of the NFC South that we're going to get into today. So let's not go waste any more time about it, Jose. We're ready to get started.
Absolutely. So am I. So with that being said, I'm Jose.
And I'm Ricardo.
And welcome back to RJ Talks. And yes, you heard us correctly, everybody. Baker Mayfield has finally made the trade from the Cleveland Browns over to the highest talked team for him in the press over the last few months, Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so with that being said, what do you think of this trade, Ricardo?
Oh, I think it currently serves the interests of both parties in the long term, those being the Carolina Panthers and the Cleveland Browns. Carolina wanted to get under the stuck of Sam Darnold being the starter quarterback for them because it's clear that he's an interception machine with no payoff. Like most people saw him as Brett Favre, but Brett Favre at least scored every once in a while. Sam Darnold is not close to that level where he sometimes provides some good. It's mainly all bad. Now, for Baker Mayfield, it's going to be very, very interesting to see as far as what he does. You got DJ Moore on one of the receiving sides, and then you got Robbie Anderson as well. And if Christian McCaffrey, and that's a big if, very, very big if, Jose. If he can stay healthy for the season, it might help out Baker Mayfield in the short-term passing game and the running game. And honestly, I'm very curious to see how this works out. If Baker's actually healthy and he can maybe pull off some wins for the Carolina Panthers. I'll be honest, Jose. I see this team going as far as third place in the division. I don't see him being better than the Tampa or the New Orleans Saints.
He may be a welcome change to the Carolina Panthers. As we were saying before, he is a young quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's really the biggest advantage that he has over Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold himself is not the most consistent quarterback by any means. However, he is more experienced. So he may be able to bring that to the table at the very least, and that may inhibit Baker Mayfield from starting right off the bat. But we'll see. As far as the trade details go, I am not entirely sure of those. However,
that's all right. We can go out more details for the team.
Absolutely.
Let me get started specifically with what they have. This is going to be very interesting, Jose, because remember they drafted quarterback legend Matt Corral as well in the second round.
Quarterback legend, I like how you put that.
Yeah. So, but with their first pick of the draft, they did get one of the better tackles in the draft, Ekwonu. I butchered his name completely. I'm so sorry. But point is, guy can play, and he's going to help that offensive line as well. And it'll be curious to see as far as what happens specifically in the quarterback position. It's going to be a one-year thing for Baker, so I honestly think he's probably the best quarterback out of the ones they currently have on roster, including the rookie. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes about it. They even got another offensive guard later in the draft. That'd be Cad Mays from Tennessee. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Again, not high expectations. I see this team under 500, but I see Baker making a little bit of spark, whether it be early in the season or a little run mid-season, just so people think like, oh yeah, Carolina's in, and then reality is going to set back as well.
Well, here's the thing, and this is not to stray away from your point at all. This very much, and it's not really to hit on your point either. I mean, it's great that Carolina has made these kinds of moves as far as draft capital goes.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Baker Mayfield had it made in Cleveland.
Definitely.
Yeah, as far as just the offense goes as a unit, they were very, very complete. Okay, so, and he was, as we've mentioned before in a previous episode where we just talked about Baker in as far as his career was from then until now, he was basically just a game manager for Cleveland, especially when the new head coach took over. Yeah, Stefanski.
Yeah.
As soon as Stefanski took over, he definitely changed the way the offense was ran. and all for the better. Now, as far as Baker Mayfield's skill goes in Carolina, he may have that bit of a young boy spark in the sense that, oh man, this is a new team, so I'm really just gonna, I'm really gonna help my team out, my new teammates out by just being the best that I could possibly be. So I don't doubt the fact that he's not gonna have the fire at the very least at the beginning of the season.
Like I said,
especially with that week one matchup against his former ball club.
He's gonna be angry that game.
He will be.
Yeah, he'll be eager to prove himself. But like I said, reality's gonna set back in, and like I said at the beginning, third place team, and this is clearly a desperate move by Matt Rule to try to save his job as far as how the Carolina Panthers have been going. They really thought Sam Darnold was going to be the one to save them, specifically early on in the season.
Oh yeah.
And then I believe they were either 3-0 or 4-0, and then it just went downhill for them.
It looked great for them at the very beginning of the season.
And they ended up 5-12, the bottom of the division. So if they end up at the bottom of the division again, I don't see Matt Rule keeping his job, Jose. And I honestly don't think he's that good of a coach, if I'm being honest. I think he's okay. I just think he's got a good. Some guys are just made for college. Some guys are just made for the NFL. He was made for college because he turned up programs quickly. And most recently, it was Baylor. I don't remember. There was another team as well that he coached for beforehand where he turned the program around and he just led them off to winning seasons. Mm-hmm. So this year's going to determine his job. If for some miraculous reason the Carolina Panthers have a winning record and a chance at the wild card spot, that'll be very interesting for both parties because Baker will get a better contract with another team because there's always going to be a desperate team. There's going to be one team that's going to be desperate for the next year to get another quarterback, specifically with these bums that are on the field right now from the NFL draft.
Oh, yeah.
Or won't be on the field. Let me be more exact.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt if Pittsburgh actually put out a plea for another quarterback after this year, especially with if they decide to go ahead and put Kenny Pickett in the second position.
I think they're going to give him a minimum of 2 years to see how he looks, maybe 3. So
which is what you always see as a quarterback, as a reasonable amount of time for a quarterback or any player for that matter to actually prove his worth within the organization that they were drafted into.
And this is going back to a conversation piece that we had with Baker early on with what we mentioned.
Yeah.
This is going to be his 5th year. Okay, so we already know who Baker is. So he's an okay quarterback. He can be good sometimes, but he's not good or great. He's just okay. Yes. But he's not horrible, and I maintain what I say. He's the best quarterback in this roster, which is what it says about the Carolina Panthers roster. So if you want to go ahead, we can get started with the season schedule and see how they're fair this year, Baker at the helm or not.
Yeah, we can go ahead and make our predictions right now. So week 1 is, as I mentioned before, going to be right against his former ball club, the Cleveland Browns. I don't see Carolina winning this game.
I don't see him either, but stranger things have happened. Not trying to make a shout out to the show that just ended with the finale.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I see a close loss. I don't see a blowout either way.
For sure, and this also isn't at Cleveland. This is in Carolina. So
depending on who Cleveland has at quarterback, it could be a closer game than people think.
For sure. Yeah. For sure, yeah. I still don't see them winning it. It may come down to the field goal. That's what I believe.
Honestly.
Yeah. The next game is at New York against the Giants.
That'll be Carolina's first win of the year.
That will be. Yeah, so far we're predicting 1-1. Mm-hmm. Okay, the next game is going to be versus New Orleans.
That's going to be a loss.
Yeah, that will be a loss for Carolina. Yeah, because New Orleans, as
a team.
As a team, their defense is just unstoppable, and I do not see them losing any kind of momentum for the next year. Everybody on that defense is reasonably aged for the most part. That nobody's very, very old from what I remember.
And let's be honest, they still have Mike Ramczyk, one of the best offensive linemen on that team.
Exactly.
And then they have Alvin Kamara still on the team, Michael Thomas. They still have talent. My point being is that Jameis Winston, he can throw interceptions, but when an easy win's there, an easy win is there to be had.
Most definitely, yeah. So he's not one to shy away from the easy win for sure. The next game is going to be against Arizona, against y'all.
I'll give some respect to the doubt. I could see it being a loss for Carolina.
Yeah, I could also see that being a loss for Carolina. Arizona as as an organization may be in shambles. However, the team itself is not bad.
They still have the talent.
They still have the talent. They have the skill. So I don't see them losing this game.
So we have them at 1-3 so far.
1-3 so far and then the next week 5 is against San Francisco. They're losing that one.
It's gonna be 1-4.
Yeah, that's gonna be 1-4.
We're gonna lose the next couple games actually.
Yeah, yeah, man, they have a tough schedule. This is one of the tougher schedules we've seen. Week 6 is at LA against the Rams.
They're gonna lose that game.
They're losing that game. Right after that is against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so 1-6 so far?
1-6.
Yeah,
Yep, that is correct. Yeah, if we were keeping track correctly. This next one might be a tight race. Yeah, it's going to be at Atlanta.
It could be, but
Yeah.
let's maybe Carolina can pull the win away.
It is a divisional game.
Let's be positive. 2-6. They beat Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe Atlanta.
Yeah.
For sure. And this is at Atlanta. This is at Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, so they have a very good chance of winning this, especially with the new rotation of the quarterbacks. So Matt Ryan obviously went over to Indianapolis.
Mariota and Desmond Ridder at the helm.
Yep.
I don't see.
It's going to be...
Other than Kyle Pitts, I don't see much spark from that Atlanta offense.
Neither do I. Yeah, not a whole lot of heavy hitters as far as the receiving core goes either. Right after that is against Cincinnati at Cincinnati. I do not see them winning this one either.
They're not going to.
Yeah, they're going to have a rough season already just to start.
And this is just optimistic saying that if they beat Atlanta, they're still 2-7.
Oh, yeah.
First half of the season.
Right. Yeah, right after this is once again versus Atlanta. So Atlanta is now going to be coming over to South Carolina. Yeah, so this might be a win for Carolina.
Let's help them out of it.
We'll throw them a bone here.
3-6. Yeah.
For sure. The next one is at Baltimore.
That's a loss.
That's a loss as well.
Hang on, let me count really quickly. Sorry.
Yeah, so we're on 11, and it's going to be 3-8. Should be 3-8.
Win. Loss. Win. 3-8.
Yeah.
All right. So 3-8, and then
right after that, right before their bye week is versus Denver. However, Denver is going to be in Carolina, South Carolina.
I don't see it either.
Especially with how complete that team is altogether on the defensive and the offensive side. Russell Wilson is only going to settle further into that team.
Even in an away game for Denver, no.
Exactly. Yeah, not at all. So bye week for week 13, that will lead them to 3-9. Yep, 3-9 going into the bye week. Right after that is at Seattle.
They're gonna get a win. 4-9.
Yeah, they'll get a win, 4-9 right there. Yeah, we're just completely crapping on Seattle. Not only because they are in our conference as an Arizona Cardinals fan and in our division, they're just not going to be very good next year.
They're not.
We do not predict them to be very good next year.
They're planning to get the number 1 overall pick next year.
No, you're absolutely
Based
right.
on the moves that they've been making, I don't see any other logical explanation for what they're doing.
For sure, because top to bottom, from the owner all the way down to the third, fourth string quarterback. I mean, it is just disastrous.
Yep.
It's terrible, really. Right after that, week 15 is going to be versus Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's going to be a tight one.
That'll be a tight one.
Yeah, for sure. Not really seeing a whole lot here.
The thing is, I have too much respect for Mike Tomlin. I don't see him losing to this team.
I don't either.
Yeah, so
I really don't.
We'll be at 4-10.
4-10. The next week versus Detroit. As good as Detroit's going to be looking next year,
it's going to be home for Carolina. We'll give them 5-10.
Yeah, 5-10. Yeah. Although Detroit is looking pretty good for this next season.
Yeah.
We still don't know. They're cursed, right? Yes. Not to be superstitious, but we're kind of making a joke as well. The team is cursed, so we're believing that they're going to lose this. However, we don't want them to be unlucky.
Yep.
Yeah. The week after in 17 is at Tampa.
It's a loss.
That is a loss as well. And their last week is going to be at New Orleans.
So they're going to end 5-12.
5-12.
That's the same record they had this past year.
And that's us throwing them a couple of bones, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no way that we see that they're going to be getting a winning record. And let me make this very clear,
yeah.
Ricard. And you and I both know, and I just want to make it very, very crystal over to the audience here. We're looking at this at a very logistical and a very logical way. They have a difficult schedule. Okay, and that's really that's really out of their control, right? This is the card that they've been dealt, and due to their current skill level, it's just not feasible for them to have a winning record this next season.
And it's just and not because of the schedule as well. They just don't have a team. They don't have a team.
Yeah.
It all went downhill. Like, give me if Luke Kuechly didn't retire, okay, maybe like defense like shows you something like to help contribute to a winning way.
For sure.
But they don't have anything at the moment. And that's I'm not sorry, Carolina fans. Like, that's just the truth of the matter as far as how they're looking. That's why I say they're gonna be at most at third place in this division.
Yeah,
they're not gonna do much.
And we wouldn't be entirely surprised if they end up fourth, if they end up at the bottom of the division.
Yeah.
So we thought that we would start talking about this, number one, because obviously Baker Mayfield was traded over to this team, and number two, this is part of the reason why. It's just we don't see them really making a splash this next year. Maybe a couple of years after, 3-4 years after, but this next season is just not looking very good for them.
It is not.
Yeah, for a couple of reasons. Number one, their schedule is very difficult, and number two, their team is nowhere near complete at all. Yeah, so that's really all I have to mention about Carolina. How about you, Ricardo? Any added comments?
We know that you pretty much nailed it on the head, Jose. Let's move on to Atlanta.
Perfect. Moving on to Atlanta. We'll see you guys there. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Now, once again, as we mentioned in the previous segment, we don't see them making a huge splash either. A lot of their heavy hitters, as far as the quarterback position went, as well as their star wide receiver at the time, Julio Jones, both of those players have come and gone out of the Atlanta Falcons organization, and they have not made a Super Bowl run or anything close to a playoff run since 2016?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when they went to Super Bowl 51 against the New England Patriots. Now, one headline that I actually wanted to touch on is
go ahead.
Was the Falcons signing veteran defensive lineman to a 1-year deal. That D tackle is Eddie Goldman. All right. Okay. Now, that's really one of the biggest things that I've actually the biggest pieces of news that I've seen as far as the Atlanta Falcons making any kind of trade or signing any kind of person onto their squad, right? And then of course they have Drake London coming over, the QB that we have mentioned beforehand.
Receiver.
I'm sorry.
Receiver.
Oh, the receiver. Excuse me.
No,
my gosh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. The receiver out of USC.
The receiver out of USC. That's right.
The tall receiver that they're trying to. It looks Julio Jones-like to them, essentially. Big receiver, can be kind of quick.
Who can make the flashy plays that Atlanta likes to make. They're very much a vertical offense.
Yeah, we'll see. And then pretty much another weapon to help out Kyle Pitts right there. It's the only main bright spot that I see with them, Jose, because they got Cordell Patterson, one of the running backs. Damian Williams out of New England, I do like him.
I do too.
Another signing. He's always been a decent kind of player. But let's just get down to it, man. Matt Ryan has been supporting this team for years and years on end. Ever since that Super Bowl collapse that they had, they've just been falling apart, and Matt Ryan was the final piece to go. And once they realized that there was nothing much more that he can do, they were fair, and they traded him to Indianapolis to give him a shot to try to do something a little bit more left of his career.
And he is going, in my view, he will look a lot better than Carson Wentz did this past season.
Oh no, yeah.
He is a much better quarterback than they are, than he is. But really, I completely agree with you. I really do, in the fact that he was the one that was carrying the team on his back.
Honestly,
most definitely.
Yeah, because people forget how good of a quarterback he is. Let me just explain something really quickly here. Before Matt Ryan was drafted into the NFL and started as a rookie, it was mainly noted that most rookie quarterbacks, you just had the clipboard in your hand and you waited 2 or 3 years before you even saw time on the field.
Right.
But for the modern era QB, you have Dan Marino, of course, is one of the few exceptions that started right away.
For sure.
Because he was Jesus who could throw the football. But point being is that Atlanta has not had much other than Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, and both of them being gone. I don't even know the name of their head coach, Jose. Like it's just really like the dog days for being a Falcons fan. But that's all right. That's how you know who your real fans are. They got a bright kicker with Young Wei Koo right there, who's always reliable. But they're let's be honest, they're competing with Carolina for last place in the division. They're to get third place.
Right.
Do not get last place in the division because
right. Yeah, because the other two that are in this division are just one of which we're going to be talking about last is easily going to be number one.
Yeah,
easily.
No, yeah.
It's not even a contest.
But yeah, so Eddie Goldman is a good run supporter. Could be for the Atlanta Falcons, but secondary is just abysmal. Linebacker core, it's not too well, and let's just get down to it and see specifically what record they're gonna have, Jose.
Yeah. We can only say so much.
Yeah.
Really. So week 1 on Sunday, September 11th, is going to be against the New Orleans Saints at Mercedes-Benz. Yeah. Now, I do see this being a tight game only because they are starting off the divisional game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beginning of the season.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The very first week of the season, I don't see them winning it.
I don't. It's going to be 0-1.
Yeah, it's going to be 0-1 to start the season. Week 2 is going to be at LA against the Rams at SoFi.
0-2.
Yeah.
0-2.
At SoFi as well, so that'll be a tough game for them. Week 3.
Let's throw them a bone because it's Seattle, it's going to be 1-2.
Yeah, at Lumen as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a loud stadium. However, that doesn't mean a whole lot, right?
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Now, week 4 is going to be against Cleveland.
I see it being 1-3, honestly. Cleveland, that just even if Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback, they just have too much talent.
They do. They're very, very good. As we said beforehand, their offense alone is just completely stacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't see them losing this game at all. So we're going to be starting off with 1-3. Week 5 is going to be at Tampa at Raymond James Stadium.
It's a 1-4.
That is a 1-4 as well. Yeah. It's looking like 1-5 too because it's going to be against the 49ers at Mercedes-Benz.
1-6 too because they're going against Cincinnati that next week.
Yep. Next week at Paul Brown Stadium. So that's going to be a 1-6.
Yeah.
Right after that is going to be against Carolina. I as we said beforehand, I do see them winning this. It is going to be a divisional game in week 8.
One at home, yeah.
Yeah, one at home as well. So I'll give them 2-8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give them 2-8 so far, or not 2-8. Excuse me. That'll be 2-6.
Yeah.
2-6. So again, the next week is going to be at LA, the Chargers.
2-7.
2-7. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Although it is at Mercedes-Benz.
Doesn't mean a whole lot when the team is much more talented than yours.
Much more talented. We cannot get enough of the Chargers for this next year.
We'll get to their division at a later time.
Yeah, we will. But we're going to be talking a whole lot about just that division alone.
Yep.
We won't be able to shut up about that division.
Yep.
So after that, but until then, next week is week 10 at Carolina.
2-8.
2-8. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right after that is week 11 against the Chicago Bears. Yeah.
I can see them winning that one.
I can see them winning that too. Like we were talking about last week. It's tough.
It's two rough teams late in the middle of the season where it's going to be clear that they're not going to do anything much with their.
And the Falcons are going to be at home.
Yeah.
Too. So I could see them winning this one. We'll give them 3.
3-8.
Yeah, 3-8. Right after that is against Washington, the Commanders.
That's a toss-up because we know Carson Wentz loves to give games away sometimes.
He does. Yeah. So Carson Wentz, may have a win here because it is at FedEx.
It is at home, so we'll go ahead and go 3.
We'll throw him a bone. Yeah. So there's that. Right after that, Pittsburgh in week 13. I don't see them winning this one either. Yep.
Yeah, I respect Mike Tomlin too much. It's 3-10.
Absolutely. Yeah, 3-10. And that's just before their bye week. Right after the bye week 15 is against New Orleans. They're losing that one.
3-11.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson at home, 3-12.
Yeah.
Next week.
3-12. After that, the Cardinals.
Depending on how they're finishing off, it could be a win, but let's be realistic here. They'll be 3-13.
3-13. Yeah, for sure.
End the season 3-14 with Tampa Bay.
Yeah. 3-14, a worse record than Excuse me. It's
Carolina.
leaving me. Carolina. Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, right after. Yeah, just a worse record than Carolina. So they're going to be very much, but it's by a hair too.
That's what I said. They're both going to be fighting for third place in the division. It's going to be those bottom two teams. I don't see either one of them. We just went through them. I don't see them beating New Orleans, even without Sean McVay. They still have talent on both sides of the ball, and they got it over that rivalry. So it's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna be last place. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, it will be. It most definitely will be.
Yeah, but who knows? Like, we say this with what we know now. There could be teams that surprise us out of the water. But based on what we see now with the players and the schedule, we don't see any of that happening.
All of this is just our initial impression of what we think the team is going to do for the next season, and with the talent that they have, right? Yep. If there is any, right? So there's really not much more to be said about Atlanta.
Honestly, no.
Yeah, it's a bit of it's an underwhelming team for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely see them. I could see them being top 5 for the NFL draft next year as well. So,
for sure.
Yeah. So good news is that with them losing, you get more talented players to come with you at your disposal.
That is the cycle. That is the cycle of being bad in one season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next season you have a lot more opportunities to get draft capital and to get young blood in order to bring them in. Now, Marcus Mariota. Just final closing comments. Marcus Mariota has showed us some promise beforehand within the offense that was Tennessee when he was with them. However, he was just a name to me. He didn't really shine in any kind of aspect, really. So for him to come over to the Atlanta Falcons, literally like a vanilla offense coming over to, and from what he was used to coming over to Atlanta and how big plays they love to make, I don't really see him making much of a big splash, even if they decided to start Drake London.
Even give him credit because he was a backup for Oakland a couple of years. He won a game for them against the Chargers, Type 1. But with what you said, name alone, that's exactly what it was. Everyone kept waiting for him to be Heisman Trophy winning quarterback out of Oregon, Marcus Mariota.
Right.
When the quarterback from Oregon that was better than what he was in college is the one right now in the Charger uniform. So Marcus Mariota will do his best, but it's just a crumbling team around him. Well, not crumbling, it's just a very, very weak team.
Very lackluster team, for sure. Well, as underwhelming as it is, that's all right, because our next couple of segments are going to be a little more exciting, especially the last one that I will not be able to shut up about for sure. So do not go away. All right, our second to last team, the New Orleans Saints. So this next season is looking very promising for their defense as well. Obviously, they acquired Tyrann Mathieu, right? The Honey Badger.
A good veteran for their team, specifically for their secondary, to provide more leadership as far as going on. And they still have pieces on their defensive front, Jose. Like it's not a defense to sneeze at. They still have Cam Jordan, still on the back end of his prime, who can lead them as far as sacks and pressure. Marcus Davenport might be a little inconsistent, but he has shown flashes and signs of promise. Demario Davis, a good leader in the middle linebacker position. Their secondary is honestly has been a bigger strength of their team as the seasons have gone on, with Marshawn Lattimore, their top corner of the team. Adebo, he's been a surpriser. CJ Gardner-Johnson, nothing to sneeze at as well. So they have a potential chance to try to make the playoffs, depending if they can win the games against good teams. If they can't, they'll just be stuck to second place behind Tampa. But they have a very impressive team, and they acquired Chris Olave also on the offensive end.
Oh man,
to add to that receiver core.
The kid that I wanted. Yeah, but I knew it was going to happen. I was a little hopeful there. They also acquired Jarvis Landry.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's going to be a destructive offense for sure. Of course, we need to mention the only weakness, or one of the biggest weaknesses on that football team, is the quarterback.
Yep.
Is the quarterback position in Jameis Winston, the kid who broke even with when he was playing with Tampa Bay, 30 touchdowns for 30 interceptions in a single season.
Let me get this this straight out the gate, so there's no confusion here with you Saints fans. I believe you have a talented team. You have one of the most talented teams in the league. I love Alvin Kamara.
Oh yeah.
I love Ryan Ramczyk on your offensive line. One of the top offensive linemen in the league.
Yeah.
I love Cam Jordan. Michael Thomas, he's good. He's consistent. He's easily a top 12 receiver in the league.
Right.
I'm going to leave it at top 12. I'm not going to get into that discussion right now. But Jarvis Landry, he's always a solid leader. He's a possession kind of guy. He's not really a go down the field kind of guy. He's good for like 3rd and 5, get you first downs specifically.
Oh yeah.
However, just because he's had a good start with the New Orleans Saints, and I know he got hurt. I do not trust Jameis Winston once to lead this team or to be their franchise leader, because he has too much Brett Favre in him. And when I say he has too much Brett Favre in him, that's exactly that. Too much wild inconsistency, too much throwing interceptions. And people are saying, well, he had Sean McVay to teach him better how to handle the offense. Sean McVay's gone. He's retired. So that argument's out of the way. And Jameis Winston, you only have 1 year to go above him. I don't think that was enough to transform his game around him. If I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. But I don't think I'm going to be wrong with this. Jameis Winston is clearly going to be the weak point for this New Orleans Saints offense, and he's going to give games away just like he did in Tampa, and he's going to throw interceptions just like we know him to be, Jose. So no confusion here, Saints fans. You have a very talented team, a good team, but you're one quarterback away from being a contender to try to make a deep playoff run, and that's not going to happen when you have Jameis Winston as your starter. And the only two other guys you have on that quarterback room is Andy Dalton and Ian Book. And you can't do much.
And Andy Dalton has not shown any kind of promise, especially in the beginning of his career when he was playing for Cincinnati.
When he had AJ Green in his prime.
Exactly. Yeah, he had AJ Green in his prime, and he just seemingly didn't do anything with him. Right. Now, moving on to the Saints' schedule.
Yep.
Just to keep an eye on what exactly they have to look forward to. Mm-hmm. Right. So week 1 is going to be against Atlanta. We solidify that as a win.
That is going to be a win.
Yeah, that is definitely for sure. They have 3 divisional games in a row. So week 2 they're against Tampa. We don't see them winning that one.
I'll give them their respect because they've always been able to snuff out Tampa before. I'll say if they win one of these 2 games, it'll be the one at home. I give them 2-0. You keep them. You have them 1-1.
For sure.
Yeah.
I do have them 1-1, just because I have some faith in Tampa.
Yeah.
I have all the faith in the world in Tampa, and especially in that quarterback that is Tom Brady.
We'll get into that.
Yes, we will
as well.
Yeah, I have some faith in them. However, like I keep saying before, I love what the New Orleans Saints defense did last year in snuffing out Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do like seeing that. So, but I don't think they're going to let it happen again. That's just the hunch that I have.
Gotcha.
All right. Yeah, so I do see it going 1-1. So week 3 is at Carolina, Bank of America Stadium. So
yeah, no,
I don't see them. I don't see them losing.
Even if it's a divisional game, they have the more talented team.
They do,
top to bottom.
They do.
Even at quarterback, it's tied, but the rest of that, you throw Mulligan at the quarterback position for those 2 teams. From then on, it's no contest. It's the Saints team.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So week 4 is against Minnesota. This one, and we talked about this last week. This one is a bit of a toss-up to me. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, because there's talent. They're equally as talented.
They are.
And they're both fighting. They're both number 2 in their respective divisions, fighting to get a spot in the playoffs.
That's right.
And they both have a quarterback that's not good enough to get them over the hump. So that's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be hard.
The Saints do have the much stronger defense than Minnesota.
And it's at home, so I'll give them the win right there.
You'll give Minnesota the win there. Yeah. All right. I think I concur. So I would give Minnesota the win. Right after that is going to be Seattle.
That's a win.
Yeah, that's a win as well.
Yeah.
Right after that is going to be Cincinnati at home though. So this is going to be a close one, but I do see this going over to Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. I personally see this going over to Cincinnati.
I see Cincinnati pulling the upset as well.
Yeah. All right. So we'll just go ahead and give them the win there. Right after that, Week 7 against Arizona at State Farm Stadium. Yeah. Here in beautiful Glendale. Yeah. Right. But
DeAndre Hopkins is still going to be out that far into the season.
He will be.
I believe they're going to be a mess. I give New Orleans the win.
So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing with D Hop still being out of the race. It's not going to be very good for them at the beginning of the season. Week 8 is going to be Las Vegas against the Raiders. Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of the Raiders in, well, really any of the schedules that we've looked at so far. So the Raiders this next year, they're going to be fourth in their division for sure, or at least we believe that they're going to be fourth in their division.
But
however,
but that doesn't mean that they're chumps at their team.
That's exactly what I was about to get to. It's like they're going to be last in their division.
I give Las Vegas the one here.
So do I. Yeah, even though they are going to be, even though New Orleans is going to be at home.
I trust Derek Carr more than I trust Jameis Winston.
As do I.
So
As do I.
Yeah.
Now Week 9 is going to be against Baltimore. I see Baltimore winning this.
I do too, honestly.
Yeah, I see Baltimore winning this as well.
It's just Lamar. It goes back to the most important thing of the game: quarterback.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Take Lamar Jackson with a healthy Ravens team now, compared to the team with Jameis Winston. I gotta go Ravens.
For sure. Yeah, as do I. Right after that is going to be against Pittsburgh at Heinz, though. So I don't see Pittsburgh winning this one. As much credit as I would also like to give to Mike Tomlin, I don't see them pulling it off. I really don't, because on both sides of the ball, New Orleans is stronger.
New Orleans is just talented enough to get away with the win.
It's going to be just they're just barely. It's probably just going to be a single touchdown. Yeah, that's what I see it as going. Week 11 is going to be against the Rams. I don't see them winning. Yeah. However, it is at Caesars though.
It is at home, so. Mm-hmm. I'll give the Super Bowl champions the benefit of the doubt. Rams win this one.
Right. Yeah. The Rams win this one. The next one is against San Fran. I see San Fran losing this.
If they're with the young quarterback and that front court pressure from the New Orleans Saints, I can, like we said, they just have a talented enough team to try to get away with the win.
They do.
To rely on their defense
as well, and San Fran's offense. If they do decide to go with Trey Lance for this game, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard game for him.
You're going to need him to throw the ball, and Tom Brady struggles enough with that front four from New Orleans.
Absolutely.
We'll see how this young quarterback does it.
We'll see. Yep. Week 13 against a much more developed Tampa Bay game.
I see Tampa Bay winning that game.
As do I. And this is at home for Tampa. Yeah. That's just before their Week 14. We're starting to see a trend here. The first 3 teams are all losing games before their bye week.
Yep.
Yeah. That's tough. All right, so next, Week 15 is going to be against Atlanta.
That's a win.
That is a win at Caesars, right? We just mentioned that before. Week 16 is against a much more developed Cleveland Browns team at First Energy.
I'll give New Orleans a bone here because, let's be honest, Deshaun Watson is probably going to be suspended for the rest of the year. This is going to be one of those close games, and I see the Saints having a little bit of pride trying to make a playoff run, trying to make a wild card.
Oh, sure.
Game, so
sure.
I'll give it to New Orleans.
Yeah, as do I. Right after that is going to be Week 17 against a well-developed Philadelphia team, a very young Philadelphia team. However, they're strong at Lincoln Financial. So I see New Orleans losing this one by a small margin.
The Eagles have played tough against New Orleans, even with a weak team. So with that offense that they have now, Philly's winning this one.
Yeah.
And it's at home for Phillies, though.
For sure. And the next one's going to be an easier win for New Orleans. against Carolina.
So I lost track specifically about the record.
As did I, but they did have a significantly better record than the previous two teams for sure.
We see 9-8, the record they had last year. I can see them having that same exact record, just because had they have their franchise quarterback, it's more of a toss-up between the good teams. But because they don't, you can't rely on Jameis Winston.
For sure.
You can't rely on Jameis Winston to get you the solidified wins with the Eagles, with the teams you're supposed to beat because they're young, or specifically with the Raiders maybe, or the Bengals, you know?
Right.
So definitely a much better record than the last two teams, but it's depending on how the playoff picture looks. You can't predict something like that so far in advance.
True.
Maybe in week 12 you start to get an idea, or week 10. But right now, I don't know, dude. I don't know if they make the playoffs. I can see them making the playoffs. I'm not saying that I don't see them, but it's just going to be how it looks.
It will be
Definitely a wild card team, though. One of the final teams to make.
Yeah, I don't see them going past the wild card though at all.
No, yeah,
I really don't.
I see them making the playoffs.
That's it. Yeah. At the very least, that's pretty much it. 9-8. That's a good record actually set for them. They might be getting the same exact one. But who knows? We'll see if the young guys or the young/new guys actually make a stand. However, you need, as we say over and over again, you need a quarterback that can score points for you. It's not enough to just stop the other team from scoring points.
I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. I do not trust Jameis Winston at all to be my quarterback.
At all.
And you guys shouldn't either. He's shown some promise under the system, but Sean McVay's no longer there. He's not going to keep Jameis Winston in check from when he makes a bad throw.
Yep.
It's going to be another coach, and I don't see it happening. They can be flashy. They can be a flashy offense based on the weapons that they have.
Right.
But it's not going to be enough to win you games.
No, it won't.
No.
It won't. They might put points on the board, but at the very least, that's it.
Yeah.
Really. So, all right. That is a wrap on the New Orleans Saints. The very last team that we're going to be talking about is, of course, the potential Super Bowl champions for next year. This isn't an official declaration. I'm not coming out here and saying that I'm predicting them to go to the Super Bowl and win it.
One of the top two contenders, at least, to make the Super Bowl.
The top two.
From the NFC side.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so this is definitely the NFC. We're starting to veer into the NFC elite.
Yep.
All right, so do not go away. We're going to be starting to talk about Tampa or Tampa Bay. Don't go away.
We'll be back.
All right, now, Ricardo, I'm very excited. I am very excited to talk about these guys because, as you know, this is the man that got me into football, aside from you, right? Tom Brady, of course.
I can tell. Zay, why don't you take the lead on this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so Tampa Bay this next year is obviously what was not expected to make any kind of playoff run after Tom Brady had retired, right? But after 40 plus days, we realized that, or he himself realized that, I can't live one more year without football, especially with that run that they made last year, right? Losing to the LA Rams, but it was so close also, right? With Tom Brady just making a classic comeback run to hopefully win the game. However, as he puts it, they have unfinished business, right? So first off, I wanted to point out some notable players on this team, right? So obviously you have Mike Evans at the wide receiver position. He is the guy's been solid off of the field, nicest guy ever, great, fantastic teammate. So there's no reason for him to not perform the way that he has performed this, like he did last year, if not better this next year.
He's had the NFL record of most consecutive season with 1,000 yards. I don't see that record going anytime
Not at all.
next year. So he's your ideal number one.
His number two is Chris Godwin. Now, I would like Chris Godwin a lot more if he wasn't so inconsistent.
Yep.
Yeah, he loves to make the flashy plays. However, the simple catches, he just, for whatever reason, he just can't do it. Yeah, he just loves to drop it down whenever it's something just very, very easy.
Yeah, but those highs that he has are real good highs.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah,
they're great. So they lead to game-changing plays. Levante David, obviously at the linebacker position, leader of the defense,
yeah.
unstoppable guy. Yeah, so
still one of the better coverage linebackers in the NFL today, even at his age.
For sure. Next is a former Patriots player, Shaq Mason. Yeah, Shaquille Mason. He is going to be playing for Tampa Bay this next year. Actually, and Akeem Hicks as well, D tackle.
That is a great pickup by. Sorry, it's because it's.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, go right ahead.
Akeem Hicks has always been a big run supporter for the Bears defensive line. He has always been there before. Even the final days of Urlacher and Lance Briggs, Akeem Hicks has been there as a main big guy to stuff the run. And they realized with the LA Rams, they struggled to stop the run as well.
Oh, yeah.
So what he did, they just needed to. He provides pressure. He's pretty much, Jose, a quick big man on his feet. And that excites me because when you get a man pushing back that O-line, that helps those tackling linebackers with Levante David and Devin White to hunt and move quicker. When you have a big body that can pair him up with Vita Vea, very, very exciting.
I was about to actually start mentioning him before, or right after I mentioned a couple of others. Yeah. So I have Anton Winfield Jr. is going to be at the safety position. Yeah,
he's going to be eager to redeem himself because he knows that people look him as. Some people blame him for the loss. I don't, but he was the player who gave up the big play against Cooper Kupp.
Oh, for sure.
I feel he's going to come back with a vengeance.
Oh, I believe so. Yeah, I believe that whole team's going to be coming back with one. Logan Ryan at the safety position, and lastly, this seems like your favorite player on this team, Ricardo, Vita Vea. Yeah, nose tackle.
Dude, he can. The amazing thing about Vita Vea is that not only is he big and quick, but he can move. He can make moves to get past the O-line.
He's shifty.
He's very shifty.
Yeah.
Last year against the Rams, he was one of the main guys who got pressure on the quarterback, and it was up the middle. And those are one of the most unstoppable things for an offense, like very, very hard, is pressure up the middle. What is Tom Brady's weakness? Pressure up the middle. If it's pressure from the side, you can always step up into the pocket, shift a little.
And you know that's what he loves to do.
Exactly. And that's right up in your face. And Matthew Stafford, as mobile as he is still a pocket passer first. Any pocket passer, pressure in their face, whether it's from the middle, on the left, or on the right, is very, very disruptive. So with Vita Vea and Akeem Hicks right there in the center, it's awesome. It's very, very exciting for our defense, specifically up front.
And here's another player who's been very, very consistent for this team that is worth noting. Ryan Suckup. Ryan Suckup, the place kicker.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been a fantastic place kicker for this team because a lot of the time that's what the game comes down to. It comes down to a field goal. Mm-hmm. Okay? And if your kicker cannot make it in the final seconds of the game to seal the deal, then that's a loss for you. Well, it makes or breaks the game.
Well, we saw in their last game of the season. It was decided by a field goal.
That's right.
And who's to say that this year against the Rams, oh boy, you know me, the ideal rematch I want for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is an NFC Championship game to beat against the Rams to try to beat them. But more on that later. Let's get back to the fact, Jose, that offensive lineman is still consistent with the addition of Shaq Mason. Now, you're a Patriots fan, obviously.
Right.
They always have Shaq Mason on as an additional, early on in his career, he was an additional tackle, and he ended up being a guard for Tom Brady before. Right. So he's very, very familiar as far as how to protect Tom. Now, necessarily, he's not familiar with the offensive line, but I doubt he's going to have much trouble fitting in with Tristan Wirfs and Ryan Jensen, who are both elite offensive linemen, going to the point that it's going to protect Tom Brady in the long run, and we got to protect Tom Brady, gives him more chance to hold on to the ball. But what we want this Tampa Bay offense to do is run the ball a little more.
For sure.
And you got a run blocker in Shaq Mason who can help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the fact that he's going to be starting for Tampa this next year is just going to be it's going to be fantastic to see.
Now, we'll say this. It would have been ideal to have Robert Gronkowski back as well because he's just super versatile now.
So destructive,
even as old as he is right now in his body,
right.
He's still a great help. But Cameron Brate is still a reliable tight end for Tom, and Tom's not afraid to throw it to him, specifically to him.
Absolutely not. And, of course, the head of the snake over there, Tom Brady.
We could spend a whole topic talking about Tom. I'm pretty sure we did when we thought he was retired.
Yeah, we did. We spent an entire session talking about him, and like Ricardo just said, we can go on and on and on and on about how great Tom Brady is. So this next year, he is making a run for his 8th Super Bowl ring. It's not entirely out of his reach either, especially with how stacked this Tampa Bay team is.
And here's the thing, they're one of the more complete teams left in the NFC. They just have their rivals left to worry about, which is those Los Angeles Rams. And what do we know Tom Brady to be? Ultra competitive and unfinished business. And pretty sure he's one of the few teams that he hasn't beat as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer so far. So
are the Rams,
yeah, the Rams and New Orleans specific as well. So we'll see specifically what's going to happen. Like I said before, and you can go into one of the earlier podcast episodes into more detail as far as what I explained. I want this team to run the ball more. They got Leonard Fournette and they got one of ASU's finest, Rashad White, to be drafted on that team as well.
Oh yeah,
they're going to need to be more consistent running the football to have a chance to win more games. I don't doubt Tom Brady's ability to pass the ball. I don't doubt this offense's ability to throw it all over the lot. That doesn't mean you have to every time.
They did that a lot last season. And Tom Brady actually set some new records last season. However, I completely agree that offense does need to be more versatile and be a little less predictable.
Yeah, because as much as I love Tom can still do it. There's no doubt about that. But you want to be more balanced and keep the other teams off balance as far as what they're expecting.
There's more of there needs to be more of a team approach as far as the offensive strategy goes.
And that's what goes specifically with the weakness of Tampa Bay. Now they have Tryron. I can't say his full name, but Joe Tryron Shoninka specifically at one of the linebacker positions. Mm-hmm. He's shown some promise. He hasn't been as consistent as we'd like for him to be, but it looks like he might have the starting job this year. So we'll see specifically how he plays.
They have Giovanni Bernard at the running back position.
As well, Mr. Third Down running back specialist himself, Gio Bernard. When Tom Brady is in passing plays, he always likes to have his check down. They still have Tyler Johnson and Scotty Miller, specifically at the wide receiver position. So
Kenjon Barner at the running back position. So as far as the backs position goes, they are obviously not as strong as the wide receivers, but they are very, very much going to have to be utilized this next season.
They are talented in their own way.
They are.
It's very much running back by committee, but it's up to the Tampa Bay offense to use them properly and use them all, give them all their fair share.
Knowing when to use them, yes. Yeah, absolutely. They're tools in the game.
Now, we're going to have to see this Tampa Bay secondary, if they are indeed the weakness of this team, or if they're capable of showing how good they played in that Super Bowl run as far as how good of a defense at theirs. Specifically, they have Jamel Dean and Sean Murphy-Bunting, who got hurt on the first game of the year against the Cowboys last season. Still have Carlton Davis there, Ross Crockwell. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I believe with Logan Ryan there as a veteran will help him out a lot, because most of these guys, Jose, they're like 25. They're around 25 years old. They're young. They're very, very young and green still. Yep. Logan Ryan has been in the league for almost, I think he's been in the league for 8-9 years, closer to 10 specifically.
He has plenty of experience.
Yeah, he has plenty of experience. He's played with Tom in playoff games. He knows what it takes to win, and it's going to help him out to, I believe, communicate more. Mm-hmm. And that's very important. Same as Tyrann Mathieu with the New Orleans Saints. You got that veteran presence out there to help you out and communicate specifically as far as what's going on. There's no doubt these guys are talented. It's just a matter of can they perform.
Yeah. So and can they utilize their personnel in a way that is productive?
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, let's get down to it as we have with the other team. Let's take a look at that schedule, man.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, so as usual, we're going to be skipping the preseason. Week 1, they're going to be facing Dallas in Arlington. Yeah.
I still say Tampa wins it, even if it's at Dallas.
I say Tampa wins it as well. Yeah, with how high energy that crowd is, it's not really going to distract his focus at all. Mm-hmm. The next one is against New Orleans. I don't see them losing this one.
If there's one game I see them losing early on, would be against New Orleans, but it's they could easily just as win it. It's just I'm going based off the fact how they played in New Orleans the past couple of years.
For sure.
There.
Yeah.
But they could prove me wrong.
They could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, New Orleans is going off of how they played last year, right? So obviously how they played last year is hopefully going to be different than this next year. Or at least that's what I would think. They would be a lot more adaptable to what's going to happen this next year.
Given that this game is so early on in the season, Jose, I do believe you're right about that because Tom is very, very, I'm pretty sure he does not like this defense shutting him out and embarrassing them.
Nope. He's had enough of it.
Yeah, he's had enough of that happening. But anyways,
next
game on to Green Bay. Even though it's Aaron Rodgers, that Green Bay team cannot handle that Tampa Bay team.
They cannot, and they've proven that year after year since Tampa Bay has actually been to that. Since Tom Brady has been over to that Tampa team, they cannot handle it. So I'm giving them a 3-0 start. Okay. So right after that is going to be against Kansas City. That's going to be a tough game. However, Kansas City does not have Tyreek Hill, so their offense is not going to be as strong, or they're going to have to adapt to it. Are they going to get used to that adaptability the next year after that? No, because Andy Reid is a little stubborn. Is a little more on the stubborn side, and he likes things his way.
And we got to remember too, who's the mastermind who stopped Kansas City and showed that they're not immortal, that they can't be beat.
He is now the head coach.
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles
is going to be very, very personally invested in this game to show we're not a fluke. We can still stop this team as well. So I can see them winning this game, but it is going to be very, very tight.
It's going to be a hard one. For sure.
It's one where it's going to be which team makes the most mistakes is the one who's going to lose this game.
That is what it will come down to, and I see Kansas City making more mistakes. However, they could prove me wrong. There's quite a bit of doubt in my mind as far as just Patrick Mahomes' maturity, because as we've seen year in and year out, he has gotten significantly better. However, he does not have his prime target. That is the biggest thing.
And here's the thing: it's not going to change. Usually, if Tyreek Hill's injured or if he's getting covered, you're like, you know what? We still have that presence.
Yeah.
That presence is gone. It's over. It's going to be double covering Travis Kelce and singling up those receivers.
That's what I'm saying. So that's part of the reason why the biggest reason actually why I'm giving this game to Tampa.
Yeah.
So starting off 4-0, pretty much 5-0 since they're going up against Atlanta at home the next week. So 5-0. The next one is going to be at Pittsburgh at Heinz. Yeah.
I see Tampa winning it just because it is Mike Tomlin, but Tom Brady has been Mike Tomlin's kryptonite throughout the years. I give it to Tampa.
6-0.
Yeah.
Yep. Right after that, Carolina 7-0.
Yeah.
Yep. Once again, Baltimore.
I can see Baltimore pulling the upset on this.
So can I.
Yeah.
So can I. Now, Baltimore's defense is not as strong as it used to be during their heyday, right? However, they are still good.
And their secondary is going to be healthy this year. They were all decimated by injury.
Yes, they were. Yeah, for sure. So we are hoping that they're going to continue to come back and actually dominate. As far as the Baltimore Ravens go, I see them winning this. Yeah, I do. So this brings them to 7-1 or 6-1. Yeah. All right. So their first loss of the season, the LA Rams at Raymond James though in Tampa. I think it'll come down to pretty much a field goal.
Yeah, and I see Tampa still being emotional as far as that last loss. So I can see them going 8-1.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Field goal, like you said.
Yeah, field goal.
Last drive by Tom Brady to lead him to win the game.
Oh yeah, and then suck up with the kick. Yeah, so I do see that. This next one is Seattle in Germany.
9-1.
Yep, 9-1. Yeah, in Germany, which should be an interesting game. However, not that interesting since it's going to be against Seattle.
Yeah.
So right after a bye week. Okay, so the first team that we've had so far that actually has a win before a bye week. Yeah, right after that is going to be against a very healthy and very developed Cleveland Browns team. Yeah, however, Deshaun Watson's not going to be their quarterback. Yeah, or at least we predict that he won't be.
No.
Yeah. I don't see Cleveland winning.
It's because it's after a bye week as well.
Yeah.
If it wasn't after a bye week, I can see Cleveland pulling the upset at home, but Tom Brady with the bye week and that coaching staff as well, we're at 10-1, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so 10-1 with that win. Right after that, New Orleans. It's going to be at Raymond James, though.
Yeah. If there's one season that I could, you saw, I could pick them losing the first game against New Orleans away at New Orleans. I can see them winning this one, 11-1.
11-1.
It's gonna be Monday night as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so right after that is going to be against San Francisco in Santa Clara.
I can see San Francisco pulling off the upset because it's at San Francisco.
So do I. Yeah, so 2 losses.
11-2.
Yeah, 11-2. Right after that against Cincinnati in Tampa.
12-2.
Yep, 12-2. Right after that, State Farm Stadium at Arizona.
13-2.
13-2 as well. Yep. Carolina 14-2.
Yeah.
And Atlanta 15-2. Best record so far that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 15-2 is what we predict Tampa finishing the season with.
Let's get down to the crux of the argument here.
Right.
Los Angeles is going to be their toughest test. I don't care about Green Bay. They're not as consistent of a team. They're weaker on defense, let alone them losing the star wide receiver.
Right.
Kansas City, they lost their star wide receiver. It's going to be a whole new world, and it's early in the season, and we don't see them adjusting yet.
No.
Los Angeles has been their rival ever since Tom has come into Tampa Bay. That's going to be one of their testaments as far as how good that team's going to be,
for sure,
and how they beat LA. If they beat LA throwing that ball all over the lot again, it's going to be a very similar ending to this past year.
Yes.
But if they win convincingly with having a consistent run game, that's going to be something to look out on. That's going to be the test as far as how they look. See if they pass that test of being not predictable.
Unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so. So with all that, I mean, Tampa Bay is obviously going to be winning this.
Yeah.
Winning this division. Right after that, it's going to be New Orleans, and then it's going to be a tie, or it's going to be a fight for third place. But I do see Atlanta coming out for third place. Only because Carolina is just that much more underdeveloped than Atlanta is.
Yep. Honestly, that's exactly how I see it too. I see Tampa winning the division again. New Orleans winning record, but not close enough to make a big enough threat.
Yep.
One of the other divisions that's clear cut. Like, we know who the favorite is. It's just a matter of who's going to end up in third or fourth place.
And that's kind of the story of the NFC as a whole. Yeah, the NFC as a whole is just really lackluster this next year. The AFC is pretty much where all the strength is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Specifically the AFC West, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the AFC West with Denver, with LA.
That'll be the division we'll watch next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be the one to really, really keep an eye on. Now, we will get to them at a later date.
We will.
But as of right now, that's pretty much our predictions for this next season as far as the NFC South goes. Right? Obviously, Tom Brady is going to be taking Tampa Bay to the very end, and if they make a Super Bowl run, I guess we'll see them go up against Buffalo.
Like I said, it's my first my midterm for them is going to see how they play against Los Angeles and if they win, how they win. That's gonna be the test for them to see how they're looking. And that's going to be the team down the road that they're going to have to look out for.
This is really our view of not just football, but just sports in general, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you win. If you win, great. But how did you win, right? Especially against good comparable talent.
The top competition in your league.
Exactly. This is also how we judge players coming out of college, right? This is how we knew that Mac Jones was going to look pretty good. This is how we knew that
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow was going to be great, as well as Jamar Chase, because those people were able to perform against elite talent in college. So as far as winning goes, that's great, but who did you win against and how did you win? Those are the filters that we put a lot of our determinations through, if not all of our determinations through. Yeah. So.
But yeah, if they beat Los Angeles, and I know it's at home and they have a chance to win, but my thing is how they beat them. If they beat them convincingly, I can see them making a run towards the Super Bowl.
Definitely.
But if it's nip and tuck, if it's them doing the same old Tampa thing of passing the ball all over the lot, not trying to be consistent, it's gonna go up to the wire.
Yeah.
As far as what happens,
they're gonna have to adapt this next year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the show. If you like what you hear, go ahead and give this episode a like, and all the other ones. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on Instagram at RJTalks_11. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
We'll see you next week, guys.